First, just want to say thank you to facilities and event management and everybody that helped to host the event. It was really, really good, and I think there's a lot of new people there that really stepped up to make sure that New Mexico hosted it right. So especially Eric and Brandon and Matt and Evan's brand new and gets thrown to the fire, but just thanks to everybody for helping to run a great event. Tough way to end the season, like kind of heartbreaking, truthfully, but playing the right way. I mean, I thought our players got better and better and better as the year went on, and 6 shutouts, especially after the way we started the year, was a huge step forward, but that's the game, and that's why we love sports, because sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't. We've been on both sides of it, so this year didn't go our way, and we'll roll with it and say goodbye to a pretty incredible group of seniors, and we move on, which is not easy to do, but that's where we are.
I mean, last few seasons, Cloud 9 get into the NCAA tournament. What's the challenge the next month or so, just trying to recapture that next season?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said this earlier, but winning is really hard. It's hard, and I think it's okay to right now, like, not go running into next year, like to take a deep breath, and these players have put a ton of time and energy in and focus on school and their social life and their spiritual life and whatever it is that they need to do to take a deep breath and kind of be normal students for a little bit. But if it didn't light a fire under you to see other teams winning on our field, then you shouldn't be here. So I'm not worried about that. This crew will step up, and it'll be a very different look. But I also think that's exciting because normally, you know, before COVID, it's kind of every year you lose 5 or 6 big starters and new players step up, and we haven't had that for a while. So I think the idea of some new players and new faces, and you started to see some of them step up towards the end of the year, and that to me is really exciting this spring. Like who's going to be our next leaders? Who's going to be the next people that kind of set a standard for Lobo soccer?
With no penalty kicks, with all the ties, no overtime, would you like to see that change so teams have more chances to have the game atmosphere of PKs? You can practice it all you want, but I imagine it's so different when the game and the lights are on.
Yeah, I mean, there's part of me that says yes, I'd like to get rid of that rule, but there's another part of me that says no. Like if we would have played 9 overtimes this year, there's no way that we would have had the legs that we had. I mean, they dominated that game. So I think there's a blessing and a curse to it. I understand that, you know, the fans and I'm sure the players and even as coaches, you want to solve it on the field sometimes. But the reality is that the college soccer season is not smart physiologically for athletes. So now you add an additional 20 minutes to every single one of those games. There's no way we're competing at the end of the year. So it's kind of, you know, hit and miss on both sides. But certainly I think in conference you should let players solve it on the field.
As a total non-soccer expert, it seemed to me like in the second half, at least San Jose State was playing against penalty kicks. Do you agree with that? And if so, do you have a problem with it?
Well, I know you were there for the hot chocolate, Rick, but hey, Danny paid for it, you came, so we appreciate you coming. Yeah, I think without question they were playing for penalties, which is the right thing to do if you're them. They were being outplayed, and their coach would say the exact same thing. And we've been in that situation where you put a lot of players behind the ball and you hope for the best. But yeah, without question, they were playing for penalties, and it worked. So kudos to them.
Played a lot of young players this season. What's the outlook of next season and all the experience that those young players gain?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think this is the first year, like I said earlier, I think this is the first year probably in 3 years that spots are really up for grabs. Like, it's hard. I mean, you know, Jalen set an all-time record for games started. If you're a right back behind Jalen, it's hard to get on the field. If you're, you know, center mid behind Jaden, a center back behind Carly, it's hard to get on the field. But at the beginning of the year, we were talking about how you're ever going to replace Emily Johnson, and now you have Allie Davis setting records. So what we want to do is put players in positions where, you know, they get meaningful minutes. I think we did that this year. And now those players are going to have to learn how to carry a load. So that'll be the goal this spring.